BBC Radio Lancashire on this Tuesday afternoon. Now, the government has ordered a new report into whether fracking could be carried out safely in the UK. The British Geological Survey has been asked to advise on the latest scientific evidence around the controversial process to extract shale gas. The government banned the process after a series of earth tremors, but now, after the invasion of Ukraine, it's looking again at all possible domestic energy sources. Last week, the energy company Quadrilla was told it wouldn't have to seal the wells at Preston New Road site until next June. We'll be speaking to Quadrilla's chief executive, Francis Egan, on our breakfast programme tomorrow. In the meantime, he has told us that this review may be a tentative first step towards overturning the moratorium and exploiting that potential. He added anyone who's been following the science since 2019 will be surprised if the government in fact needs 3 months to take stock of the clear evidence that already exists. Barbara Richardson from Rosica is a member of Frack Free Lancashire and joins me on the line this afternoon. So initially then, Barbara, what are your thoughts on the government's announcement?
My initial thoughts are the government are doing it to try and appease a fairly small minority of MPs who think that fracking can actually alleviate the energy crisis. And it's absolute nonsense. It can't, it won't. And if Quadrilla are so certain that they can get around the problems, why haven't they done it in the last 2.5 years? When they've had the opportunity to prove that it can be done? It can't. The bottom line is it cannot be done safely, it cannot be done sustainably, and it certainly isn't supported by the residents, by the community.
So the government said that it won't back fracking until it can be done safely. How concerned are you then that the war in Ukraine might mean that they're prepared to accept potentially higher levels of earth tremors?
Well, I think it would be very foolhardy to do so. Considering Quadrilla had only fracked 2 wells and they caused so many earthquakes, well, a lot of tremors and then bigger and bigger earthquakes, they were getting more and more intense and more frequent. That, how can they do it safely? You cannot frack without causing earthquakes, and you cannot control an earthquake. No one knows what damage it would do. Underneath the ground or above the ground. And one thing I do want to stress is yesterday the IPCC just released a paper saying that no new fossil fuels should be sanctioned by any government, that it was absolutely stupid and foolhardy for anybody to consider such a thing. And if we were to start fracking in this country, you're talking thousands of wells, hundreds of sites, a whole new fossil fuel industry with a huge infrastructure. And it's not just the earthquakes you need to be concerned about. It's things like the potential for water, air, pollution, noise, light, traffic. There's so many things associated with fracking which would be unsafe. And I just can't see it being viable, to be honest.
So with what's happening in Ukraine and the rising energy prices that we've all been experiencing, some might say that fracking could help as a domestic energy resource. Do you agree?
No, absolutely not. And even the experts agree. Even, Lord Brown, who was the chair of Quadrilla, even the Centrica boss, have all said it won't affect household bills. It won't reduce household bills. It will have very little impact on our energy supplies, our energy security. Now is the time we should be looking for renewables and investing in tidal, wind and solar, which are far more sustainable, will create far more jobs, far more economically viable. And not only that, we're an island at the end of the day, aren't we? So we shouldn't be looking at extracting new fossil fuels. We should be looking at something that will take us into the future, not going back to the past.
Now, interestingly, in a statement, Quadrilla said that Russia is engaged actively with environmental groups against shale gas to undermine Western energy security. So I've got to ask, has Vladimir Putin been in touch? Is this something?
Yeah, no, so you're German, isn't it? I've never heard anything so stupid. It's all a plot by the industry to try to undermine people who oppose their industry. It's sheer and utter nonsense. I'm just an ordinary person who woke up to fracking in 2014 and realised very quickly the damage it could do to our planet, our homes, and whatever. It was just normal people who were standing up and who oppose this. And anybody who tries to say or link us to Russia basically they're living on another planet. They're in cloud cuckoo land. What I will say, and I will say this now, ever since that announcement, the number of people that have contacted us who said they're ready to oppose this, I mean, should it ever go ahead, I think there'll be huge opposition right across the country, to be honest.
To be honest, that was going to be my final question, was wondering whether you think fracking will be met with less resistance now than it was a few years ago.
Absolutely not. Not in the current climate. I mean, sorry, that's a bit of a pun really, isn't it? In the current climate crisis, no, I think it'll be absolutely the opposite. I think you'll find not only will it be community groups, it'll be the NGOs, it'll be likes of Extinction Rebellion, climate youth groups, and I think there'll be far more people aware of the damage that fossil fuel industries can cause to our planet. And the bottom line is everybody wants to make the planet better and a better place for our children to be brought up.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. That was Barbara Richardson from Frack Free Lancashire.